Many thanks for your time. Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 279, all around the world on 3news.com and across the social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's get to it now, as Parliament's Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs is currently holding its first public hearing on the Proper Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill. My colleague Nancy Vulcania, prior to the start of hearings, engaged Boko MP Mahama Yarga, as well as the member of committee who assured Ghanaians on the fairness of the proceedings.
First day in the series of public hearings concerning the public hearing in respect of the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021. I have with me here Honorable Ayarga just to get his views on the passion with which we're discussing this matter instead of looking at the law. Honorable, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Right, so what are your views on the fact that most people are looking at this issue passionately instead of looking at it per the law?
Well, I don't know the difference, because people are entitled to be passionate about anything. They're entitled to be passionate about anything, and for some people, this is an existential threat to society. I mean, if men marry men and women marry women, they are wondering, how are we going to procreate? How are we going to ensure that the rest of humanity continues to exist if there's no childbirth? If a man who is married to a man cannot give birth to a child, and a woman who is married to a woman cannot also give birth to children, so what happens to human existence? So it's an existential threat that people should be entitled to be passionate about. Are you getting the point? So I don't have a problem with the passion that people express. Now, the law, we make the law. We make the law, and we can decide what we want our law to be. We can decide the extent to which we want to be accommodating. We want to accommodate people with deviant behavior, the extent to which we want to accommodate people's sexual tendencies and how they exercise them. So it's us as a society who will decide ultimately what the law should be. But the passion, I think people are entitled to be passionate. Wait and observe the hearings and see whether it will give us a fair position. I think that I want to assure you that none of us here as members of parliament will be intimidated by anybody. We will bring out the issues as strongly and as passionately as those discussing it also present their issues.
Overwhelming majority of Ghanaians, up to 97% of Ghanaians support this bill. Or, no, that 97% of Ghanaians are opposed to LGBTQ. Now, won't you say that this is the will of the people? So that with reference to Article 1, which says that sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana, and the sovereign will of the people of Ghana must be upheld under the Constitution. Won't you say that these opinion polls reflect the will of the people, and that Parliament, as the representatives of the people, must act in accordance with the will of the people? Thank you.
Please, Mr. Kutompa and his group, note that down. Honorable member, please.
Chairman, thank you. My name is Dapamako. I'm also one of the sponsors of the bill. I listened carefully to Senior Kutompa during his presentation. He attacked the validity of the procedure used in laying the bill, particularly in impugning the right of the speaker to proceed.
Honorable member.
Yes.
I was going to tell Honorable Akutampo that leg, if we can ignore Mr. Kutampa, if we can ignore that leg. I say so because now the bill is before Parliament. So if you are looking at the procedure where the bill, and he used his words rightly, he says it ought not have been before Parliament. Now it's before us. So let's not go into that. I think we've gone past that stage. So if you have other views, you can go on, and then Mr. Kotampao can ignore those points, and then we go.
Chairman, with all due respect, he came to Parliament to make a presentation, and that these are questions arising out of that presentation.
Honorable, I have ruled that we've gone past that, because I cannot determine that this bill should be taken away from the committee. I don't have that power.
I want to put to him.
No, it's not necessary. So let's move on.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well. But we are seeking to some clarification from him.
And I said it's moot. Is this exercise would be
very well,
exercise in free trade.
Very well. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I want to find out from Mr. Kotuampa and his group whether independently they have conducted any fiscal impact analysis to determine or support its position that this bill, when it is successful and implemented, this is the quantum of money that will be expended in this implementation. Has it done that? That's one.
That question is overruled. It's the same thing going around. I overruled
Chairman,
that question.
It is not.
Shall we proceed?
Chairman.
He is not obliged to answer that question. I have overruled that question. Let's go forward. The Speaker had decided. The Constitution says, in the opinion of the person presiding, and he has admitted that. Why do we go into that? There's a committee of Parliament, and we work under the Speaker. He has decided.
Chairman, that's our procedure. He has raised this matter as a substantive matter. Very well, very well.
Now, member,
if I may,
honorable member, excuse me. What should have happened is that at the time that Mr. Akoto Ampao was making presentation based on Article 108, we should have made him aware that that particular issue was moot, to the effect that the very provision that he was relying upon stated in no uncertain terms that in the opinion of the person presiding, and in the opinion of the person presiding, this bill has been admitted and it is now before the committee. So that particular issue is mute. That is what should have happened. Thank you.
Chairman, thank you. You see, I think we are belaboring the point. The man has come to Parliament. He knows that if he wants to attack the locus of the bill before the committee, this is not the forum. The forum is the Supreme Court. It's not here. So, but he has come to raise the matter before Parliament. Yes, he's entitled. So I am also entitled to ask questions. So I'm also entitled to ask questions. If he's come to, he knows it's my senior. He knows that if you want to attack the procedural impropriety of laying the bill, this is not the forum.
Honorable member.
This is not the forum. It's the Supreme Court. But he hasn't done that.
Honorable member.
May I make progress?
Honorable member.
With all respect.
Let me draw your attention. All the people making the presentations are our guests. We are not here to interrogate them or attack them. They have given us, they have been benevolent enough to give us their opinion. We have to seek clarifications which will help us to do our work. So subsequently, if you're going by that, if you need to ask questions, please bear that in mind. And this applies to all members.